So, first off, disclaimer, if the audio or the visual goes on this video, I have tried to get help from Hewlett Packard and Best Buy Geek Squad, and they both tell me there's nothing wrong with my computer. So when the sound goes, you'll know that there is something wrong with my computer. Fingers crossed, it works. This is the D. Louise book series. I welcome you. I'm Christina, K-R-S-T-I-N-A. This is where we read book and talk about books. No special effects, new theme music. Just me reading books, talking books with you. And I'm just trying to share my books with you. If you could please check out my Star Trek Next Generation recaps every single Friday. I've done all the episodes. We're up to season 6 now. We started with season 1. Also, if Then's on Fridays. If you like this author, then maybe like that author. We did homicides. We did forensics. And we're going in October. We're doing suspense. And we're doing thriller. And we're doing horror. So look forward to those videos. And we are finished with J.R. Ward's Black Dagger Brotherhood until next year. And working on the end of James Patterson's Alex Cross series. And don't forget to tune in to Flashback Monday, where we talk about all the books in this magazine. They did over 200 a month. And I will take a few from each section and we go through them and review them with you. And we are also doing my daily book reviews, like I said before. And we are up to book 6 in the C.S. Harris St. Cyr series. I am enjoying the binge read of these. Let me just do this. So this is book 6. It starts a couple weeks, not too long after the previous book. And we start out, you should know, and be prepared for spoilers. I don't tell you the whodunit, but I will tell you everything else. That you only have to really pay attention to Sebastian is your main character, aka Viscount Devlin. Hendon is his father. Kat is his former mistress and half-sister. Lord Charles Jarvis is sorta kinda Sebastian's arch enemy, kinda sorta, and he's also Hero's father. And then we have Aunt Henrietta, and we have Paul Gibson, the coroner, and Henry Lovejoy, the magistrate, and there are a few other pharyngeal characters that come and go. Oh, and Tom. I love Tom. He's the tiger, errand boy, researcher, discoverer. He's excellent. I love Tom. So we start off this book with Paul. Paul had heard that this gentleman had died of a bad heart suddenly. And Paul, being the coroner that he is, he wanted to see what a bad heart looks like. And he had Jumpin' Jack, the grave digger, dig up the body so he could do a proper autopsy. And he goes to do the proper autopsy, and he discovers that the man did not die of a heart attack. He died of a stiletto in the back of the neck. So Paul contacts Sebastian to investigate. It's become Sebastian's little bit of a hobby to investigate. He needs something to do with his life, and he enjoys a good mystery and enjoys a good investigation. So he starts investigating the murder of Alexander Ross. What was Alexander involved in? What did he do for a living? What was all this stuff going on? So he starts investigating, and in the meantime, we have Lord Charles Jarvis and Sebastian's father, and this other guy, Sir Hyde Forley, the Undersecretary of the State of Foreign Affairs, having a clandestine secret meeting. And a lot of their secret meeting has a lot to do with the murder. And I have a cat looking cute at my feet, and unfortunately I cannot show you. If you could come up here, you could be on camera, but she doesn't want to be on camera. Please check out my short of her attacking my couch. So, so Sebastian goes to the rooming house where Alexander was staying, and he talks to his brother Gareth. He also talks to the valet, and I like it. C.S. Harris gives you little snippets, little snippets of clues all the way through the book. Sebastian will talk to this person, and they'll tell him X, Y, Z, and then he'll talk to another character who will tell him X, and another character who will tell him X. And then he's like, oh, I need to go back and talk to the first guy. And then the first guy will tell him Y. And then the second guy will tell him Y. And it takes about 5 or 6 visits to each individual character to get the entire story, to get all the snippets that will fill in the blanks of the mystery. And you really don't find out what the mystery is or what the why is till towards the end of the book. It turns out that Sir Ross was involved in a couple of different things. He was involved in helping an American. He was involved in transactions with the Swiss. He was involved in stuff with the Russians. He was involved in quite a different things due to his occupation. And we also have Sebastian trying to encourage Hero to marry him. Now that they've discussed in the last book, it was revealed that Hero is with a child. And it's obviously Sebastian's child, since he's the only man she's ever been with. And he courts her a little bit more. They go on a train, a new experimental train, steam automotive, and they get into that. So she finally agrees to marry him, and he's gonna have the Archbishop perform the ceremony. Yes, ma'am. Come here. Come here. Come say hi. Come say hi. Come say hi. Here she is. I dropped all my papers on the floor. I don't want to be on TV. I want to investigate this papers you dropped. So, where was I? So, Sebastian finds out about Ross's boss, Sir Foley, and he was the one in the clandestine relationship meeting with Lord Charles Jarvis and Sebastian's father. Now remember, Sebastian and his father are a little estranged after Sebastian found out that his father is not really his biological father, and his father let him believe that he was his biological father so that him and Kat could not get married. But Kat understood the fact that since she was an actress and her status and a French spy, that he married her, he wouldn't have a life. He would be disowned by society and everybody. Kat understood that. And that's why Kat married a beard. She married a gay guy where she's safe. She knows she's safe. She knows she's safe, and this guy has his own stuff on the side, and they're just using each other to protect each other from powers that be, because together they hold information that will keep them alive. So then, during the hero, let me see what this says. I need to write down. So Hero talks to her father, about Devlin. And Hero is as close-minded as her father. He gives her snips of info, and she, in return, gives him snips of info. Never the whole story, but snips. It was some hours later, when Hero was gathering together her papers in the library, that she heard her father's heavy footsteps tread in the hall and turned to find him standing in the doorway. "Is it true, then?" Lord Jarvis demanded without preamble, his gaze hard on his daughter's face. "What Devlin tells me." "It is." Hero went back to the task of assembling the papers. "I hope you mean to wish me happy, Papa, but I expect you know me well enough to realize that I shall marry with or without your blessing." "I could cut you off." "You could," she acknowledged. Under the terms of her mother's marriage settlement, her father had obligated himself to provide any daughters born of the union with a portion of not less than £10,000. That Jarvis could not avoid, but as Jarvis's only surviving child, Hero stood to inherit a substantial chunk of all property not entailed to the male relative next in line to inherit the bounty. In this instant, a plump, vapid young man named Frederick Jarvis. It was well within Jarvis's power to change his will and leave everything to Frederick. She said, "I doubt Cousin Frederick would be pleased." Jarvis said, "Cousin Frederick is useless and addle-brained popinjay." "True. I suppose you could always use your wealth to endow some charitable institution." "Enough of this," Jarvis said. "I have no intention of cutting you off, and you know it. But I intend to drive a hard bargain on the settlement. Make no mistake about it." "I hope so." "The entire kingdom trembles with fear at the thought of displeasing me, but not my own daughter." She smiled. "And you know you would have it no other way." "Would I?" he says. "I assume you have reasons for what you are doing." "You're the one who is always pressing me to marry." "But Devlin? Hero Devlin?" For more than 30 years, Jarvis had dedicated his life to safeguarding the stability of the monarchy at home and expanding the nation's power and influence overseas. Few dared to stand against him for long. Working quietly and ruthlessly through a network of informants, spies, and assassins, he was the kind of man who valued order and stability above all else. But nothing but contempt for such maudlin concepts as fairness and justice. As Jarvis was concerned, the modern enthusiasm for equality constituted the greatest threat over to confront civilization. But Devlin was a man whom power and authority were never sacred, whose values were just and reason, not expediency and privilege. In the course of the murder investigation, he had not hesitated to probe into the murkiest corners of Jarvis's activities. "Can you think of another man brave enough to marry Lord Jarvis's daughter?" At that, her father gave a reluctant laugh. He took a slow sip of his drink, his eyes narrowing as he studied her pensively. Then he said, "There's something you're not telling me." "Well, duh. Like I said, he doesn't tell her everything, and she doesn't tell him everything. And then he does the sneaky thing. After his daughter leaves, he goes, 'Send her Abigail to me.' And he gets the answers out of the Abigail. We don't know that till the end of the book. And then Sebastian is investigating the American that Ross was supposed to be helping. And we learn about he had just arrived in town, this American. Then they have a little bit of a cluster F when after Lovejoy gets involved in the murder mystery. They want to go dig up Ross, but they don't know that Ross has already been dug up and cut up. And when they have Gibson and Sebastian have to put the body back, and then 2 days later, the body's going to be dug back up. And when the body is dug up, the goose is kind of up, because then Lovejoy reveals, oh, he gets it. He gets that they had already dug up the body and they'd already done the stuff. But he doesn't tell anybody. But he gets it. Then we discover that some of this mystery has come close to home with Hero. One of her cousins is involved, so she investigates on that. And it's like Hero does her little bit of investigation, Sebastian does his little bit of investigation, and sometimes they don't fill in the pieces, and Hero may pay the price for this at the end. But yeah, I don't know. Okay, we'll skip that. Okay, so a big major spoiler here. We're just gonna skip here. Wait a minute. I said, um, so Hero and Sebastian compare notes throughout the book, but it's on and off. You know, he gives her snippets. She gives him snippets. They both end up investigating. Um, I like the little scene in the graveyard with the body. It's cute. The Oster Uck. Um, so and then they finally do get married at the very very end of the book. And before that, though, Hero has a couple of incidences. Um, why did I? Oh yes. Um, so Hero and Sebastian. This is a big reveal, I guess, sort of, kind of. But one of the things that was revealed, uh, that he's discovered that the Baltimore Mary didn't sail directly to London. It stopped in Bermuda. Now I think about this. Say I'm the captain of the American ship. Let's call it the mystery ship, shall we? With a cargo bound for Bermuda. Just as I'm ready to set sail, word reaches me that Congress has declared war on Britain. I know that if I land in Bermuda after the news of the war has reached you, the British colonial officers will confiscate my ship. But I also know that my government is in no hurry to send notice of the war declaration to Britain because Washington is planning an attack on Canada and they want to take their forces by surprise. So I decide to set sail immediately, hoping to land from Bermuda, unload my cargo, and get gone before word of the war reaches them. Risky. There's more information. But I want to really read. I shouldn't have really read that, but I like the author's note at the end of the book. As difficult it is to believe in this age of instant communication, word of the United States declaration of war on Great Britain, which occurred on June 18th, 1812, did not reach London until 29 July, and even that unofficial. The Baltimore Mary, which in Where Shadows Dance brings words of the war nearly 2 weeks earlier, is my own invention. The United States was still treated as a plural noun in 1812. Thus, Englishmen at the time said the United States have declared war on us. The diplomatic maneuvering of the summer of 1812 that formed the background of the story were real, although far more complicated than portrayed here since they also involved Austria and Prussia. England did indeed bribe the Swedes with gold and promises of Norway, but at the time was part of Denmark in exchange for Finland, which Sweden had recently lost to Russia. The Tsar was pushing unsuccessfully for a strong, active alliance with the British. Richard Telvik ran a London steam carriage from Holborn to Paddington in 1803. He constructed a steam circus in Bloomsbury. The steam circus described here in 1812 is my own invention. So, you'll have to check it out, Hero and Jarvis's date on the steam engine and how much she enjoys it and who actually did the killing, because there are several killings in this book. There's about 4 or 5 people that die. Sebastian does some killing. Tom gets kidnapped. Hero gets kidnapped. Several lives are in peril. It's a really good book and I'm enjoying it. And this is book 6 in the series, and I am so looking forward to book 7. It's here somewheres. So if you could please hit the like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. And enjoy the book.